Ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, it's showtime!
Welcome to Big Faces Worldwide, where we talking nothing but this boxing, man. Hey, listen, man, first off, I want to thank and welcome all my new subscribers to the channel, man. I appreciate y'all subbing. And for those of you that are in here that have yet to subscribe, I want you to consider subscribing as we stay knee deep into this boxing conversation, man. Now listen, man, we had some hellified fights this weekend, man. I just want to go over the DAZN card. I thought the DAZN team, the Matchroom broadcast, I thought they put on a very, very good card. They started off with Tremaine Williams, who was the National Golden Gloves champ back in 2011. He went up against Yinfiel Vicente. It was a very interesting matchup, man, between the two, man. Williams was a very slick boxer, man. He said that, you know, he patented his style off after the late, great Sweet Pea Whitaker. You know, I seen a little bit of you know, him trying to do a little bit of, you know, movement that Sweet Pea does, you know. But it was a good fight. Vicente was hyper aggressive, over aggressive, man, trying to knock Williams out, man. He got very frustrated with Williams' style. I think Williams is a very slick boxer, man, but I think he lacks the punching power that it would take to compete at the higher level, you know, of 122. Got guys like, you know, Roman, and, you know, even the guy who fought on the DAZN card a couple weeks ago, who lost to Roman. I forget, can't think of his name. My mind's drawing the blank, but, you know, those guys can crack, man. Those guys are, you know, very skilled boxers, man. And, you know, sometimes if you don't have the power to keep them up off you, it may become challenging for you, man. But the Tevin Farmer fight. Tevin Farmer went up against a guy from France. I will not attempt to pronounce his name, man. But Tevin Farmer did his thing, man. Tevin Farmer, in my opinion, won every single round, except you could arguably say, you know, maybe the 11th, possibly the 12th round Tevin Farmer gave away. But Tevin came right out from the opening bell and dictated the pace, man. You know, did his thing, put on a masterful display of boxing, display of defense. You know, and, you know, there was times in the fight where Tevin turned it up, man, and, you know, stepped right to the Frenchman and got up in his grill, went to the body, you know what I'm saying? Tevin did his thing, man. I'm real proud of Tevin, man. You know, I think that, you know, if Tevin had more power, he would have been able to get him up out of there, man. But, you know, he did what he had to do. You know, and he moves on, man. And after the fight, you know, during the post-fight interview, man, the crowd in Texas was booing Tevin Farmer, man. I find that very strange. You know, the guy, the Frenchman, jumping on the ropes, man, waving his arms up in the air, you know, like he thought that he did a good job or something, man, when he was just dominated the whole fight, man. You know, I don't understand what's up with that, man. But the fight between Jose Ramirez and Mighty Mo Hooker, man, what a fight. What a fight. They said it would be fireworks, man, and it was fireworks from the opening bell. Mighty Mo got his foot stepped on in the first round, and he was down. You know what I'm saying? He was down on the scorecards from the first round, and I think that first round dictated the pace of how the fight went, how the fight would end, man. I think, you know, had, you know, he had not been knocked down, you know, even though it really wasn't a knockdown, but it was scored a knockdown, so I'm going to call it a knockdown. Had he not been knocked down, it's hard to say if he would have continued to fight the way that he fought. But he gave it everything he had, man. I thought it was a really, really good fight, man. Ramirez was just a little bit more, I think he was stronger than Hooker had intentionally thought. You know what I'm saying? You could see by the second or third round that Ramirez punches were affecting Hooker more than Hooker's punches was affecting Ramirez. Although Hooker did have some success, he hurt Ramirez to the body. He caught him with some shots to the head that seemed to buzz Ramirez for a second, make him step back and, really think about, what he was doing. Ramirez was on his stick, on his jab early on in the fight, man. And he was doing really well when he was doing that, man. I don't understand why I know why. Why he stopped using his jab, because Ramirez, he stepped his way in with the jab and was able to get him up against them ropes. People say that, why did Hooker allow him to get on the ropes? He didn't allow him to get on the ropes. Ramirez just overpowered him and got him on the ropes, man. And those punches that Ramirez was landing was very effective to Hooker. Hooker talked about it, during the build-up to this fight, that he was worried about Ramirez's left hook. And, you could see that he had that on his mind, because when Ramirez would act or, feint, Hooker would flinch. You understand what I'm saying? And Ramirez did a hell of a job, man. Ramirez showed me that, showed me a different level to his game. You understand what I'm saying? I gained a newfound respect for Jose Ramirez, man, and I really like what Robert Garcia was saying to him in between rounds. Something about Robert Garcia in his fighters, man. People underestimate what the trainer's voice in the corner, man. A mentor, somebody that can have a very great influence on these fighters, man. And Robert Garcia said something very important that, stuck with me. He told Jose Ramirez to show Maurice Hooker no respect. Don't show him any respect, man. And you can see that with different fighters in the Robert Garcia camp, that that's their motto. Don't give the fighters no respect. We've seen it with Maidana. We've seen it with Josecito Lopez and Thurman. We see it time and time again, man. And Ramirez did the same thing at times in that fight, where we showed Maurice Hooker no respect, man, and was all up over him. You understand what I'm saying? And then that sixth round, when he caught him with that left hook, and he seen he was hurt. Shout out to Ramirez for recognizing that instantly, you know what I mean? Because it happened so fast. He recognized that he had Maurice Hooker hurt, and he jumped on him accordingly, man. He jumped on his ass, man, and got him up out of there, man. And shouts out to Jose Ramirez. Now the question is, man, where does Ramirez go from here? Now we know we got the big unification matchup between Regis Prograis and Josh Taylor coming up sometime at the end of the year, man. I really hope that fight gets made. The zone, not the zone, but it's on zone. I'm talking about the World Boxing Super Series have had a history of not taking care of their business, man. Early on in the year, we wasn't sure that some of the fights, that the series would continue. Fighters were complaining about the purses and such. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of befuddles me that we have not heard a date for the Prograis Taylor fight. But I'm hearing that it's going to be in the UK, man. That's a really, really good fight. I do think Regis Prograis will win that fight. And I think that it will be Prograis and Ramirez as the last two men standing for the undisputed at 140 pounds, man. I do think that would be a very, very good fight. Before this match with Hooker, I would pick Regis by a landslide, man. I just think Regis Prograis is a very, very talented boxer. But after, watching this fight with Maurice Hooker and Ramirez, man, Ramirez showed me a different level to his game, man. He stepped it up majorly, drastically, and I do think the fight against Prograis will be a very difficult fight for both guys, man. That's a truly 50-50 fight, maybe 55-45. I would lean towards Prograis, but I will not count Ramirez out, man. Ramirez is a very, very good fighter, man, and Taylor's a good fighter. There's no guarantee that Prograis gets past Josh Taylor, but excuse me. But there's some things that I seen in the fight with, in Josh Taylor's last fight, man. There's some body language, some things that he showed me late in the fight that, I think Prograis will definitely take advantage of, man. I see Prograis winning that fight, man. But I do see it as a very highly competitive fight, man. But that's the fight to look for, man. Jose Ramirez and Regis Prograis. Hopefully that fight gets made. I know after the fight, Ramirez talked about that he wants to be undisputed. He also talked about that, if the fight between Taylor and Prograis doesn't happen quickly, that he would have another fight on ESPN before the year's out, which is cool because by then both guys would have fought, and that will around the same time, and that will leave them to be freed up for the first quarter of next year, man. But I just wanted to get on here and talk about the zone card, man. I actually was clear for credentials at that card. I wish I would have made it. Terrence Crawford was there, Spence was there, Prograis was there, Devin Haney was there. All these top fighters were there, man. I just wish I was there. But unfortunately, I had a family emergency and I was not able to make it. But it looked like it was an amazing atmosphere, man. I know it was an amazing fight. One that I watched twice already, and I probably will watch again. But that's all I got, man. I just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about that card. Talk a little bit about what's next for the 140-pound division. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Like I said, if you're not subscribed, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. But in the meantime and in between time, stay blessed and keep on supporting this sport that we love called boxing. Peace. I'll holla back.